Hi there, I'm Liam Ward from LearnTheHarmonica.com. I'm here today to talk to you about warbling on the harmonica. Warbling, or sometimes it's called trills, they're called trills. I don't know if that's really the right name, because I think possibly with a trill you're supposed to do something slightly different, move between two notes that are only a certain distance apart. But anyway, they sound like this. That's a warble on the harmonica. This is a C harmonica. It's a marine band, but any C harmonica will do. Or any other key you can still use this technique on, but if you want to play along and get the exact same notes as me, you need a C harmonica. So warbles sound like this. And they're great for a lot of different contexts within blues. You'll hear them a lot with blues harmonica players. They're kind of an iconic sound on the harmonica, and it's something that you can get them quite easily. You can get a sort of an approximation of the sound. To get them clean and fast and crisp is a bit more tricky, but the basics of it are quite simple. And they sound really cool in a lot of grooves. They're kind of nice to run up to with a sort of you know, that going up to it. And I did something else there which I'll talk about as a an extra part that you can actually add on to the warble. But for now, the basics of how to do a warble are pick two notes and play them in alternation, so from one to the other and back repeatedly. So the two notes that I was alternating in those examples then were holes 4 and 5, and they're the most common notes to choose for your warble. 4 and 5 draw. So I started on hole 4 and then I went to hole 5 and then back again, just alternating between the two. So I'll play it slowly for you. Now you notice I'm moving my head. A lot of people out there will tell you to keep your head still, move the harmonica, and they're probably right. I move my head. That's the way that I was taught. And there are times when I think, oh, I need to change my technique and sit against this wall and sort of keep my head still and. I'm not as good if I'm moving the hand instead of the head. I'm not as good at it. So I move my head. I'll probably get brain damage before you do if you learn to do it with your hand. Some people also say if you're moving the harmonica, that your hand instead of your head, that means that you're able to move more quickly between notes. I play some pretty fast stuff. Maybe I'll learn to stop moving my head one day, but at the moment I'm sticking to the head movement. So I'm going to say do either, but some people will tell you that I'm wrong. So yeah, it's basically that movement between those two notes. And to get it slowly is easy enough. If you can play single notes, if not, you need to do that first. But as long as you can get those two single notes. 4 and 5 draw, then it's just a case of going between those two notes and building up the speed. I recommend this with a lot of techniques, and especially with this one. Metronomes can be great. I've got a metronome here. You know, pick a slow speed. So I'll just get it ticking. Hope you can hear that. And I'm just going to try and play the notes as evenly as possible. so I'm trying to hit on the beat every time, and you know, you're not going to get it every time straight away. And start at a slow speed like that, I mean, that's really slow. You would never play a warble that fast. But the key is to start at a slow speed and keep speeding it up incrementally, gradually, as you get better at this. You can probably play a fast warble as soon as you try it, but it won't be completely even. And I like my students to learn things in the best possible way, and to get them spot on and have the technique really good. And when you hear a great warble, the warble is really even. Even if it's fast, it will be in time with the music, and it will move from one note to the next evenly, so that it's hitting each note for the same amount of time. And that, I think that's really important for getting a great warble, as opposed to one that isn't completely even. Because when you hear a fast player playing a warble, ideally each note is even, and it's also in time with the music. So if the music's slower, you might play a slower warble than that. Sort of a mid-speed thing like that, instead of the really fast one. So that's 4/5 draw. That's the most common place to hear a warble. Those notes are really strong notes on the harmonica, and it's kind of a safe spot for harmonica players. And as a beginner, you can sort of say, I'm going to hang there for a bit. It's kind of an easy place to be, in a way. In theory, you can play a warble on any two notes that are next to each other, you know, it's also played quite often on the 4/5 blow. In a 12-bar blues, when it goes from the 5 chord to the 4 chord towards the end of the 12-bar blues. Don't worry if you don't understand the structure of blues. I'll play this anyway, and you'll get a feel for it. Quite often, people will go from the 4/5 draw to the 4/5 blow. So, and then the other common one is on 3/4 draw. So you just sort of a little bit to the left of where you were with the 4 and 5 draw. We're now on 3 and 4 draw, alternating between those two notes. Like that. In theory, you can do it anywhere on the harmonica if you find a place for it that fits, that sounds good to you, and it fits with the chords and it fits with the feeling. 5 and 6 blow is also used. I know Adam Gusso's talked about the 8/9 draw. 8/9 draw is the same as 4/5 draw. It's an octave up from that. That's your 4/5 draw. 8/9 draw, so it's an octave up. It's a bit high, because I'm on a C harmonica especially, it's quite squeaky. If you're playing a lower harmonica, you know, if you pick up a G harmonica, it's kind of a bit more listenable, a bit more palatable, but on your C harmonica it's a bit squeaky. But practice this on all the holes. You, just because it's not done that often, it doesn't mean that you can't make the whichever two notes you like the sound of, sort of a more common thing in blues harmonica than it is at the moment. You can be the one who sort of makes that happen. I am doing this lip pursed, puckered, by the way. But if you're a tongue blocker, or if you want to give it a go tongue blocked, it can be tongue blocked as well. So you can get that same sound. That's tongue block there, so you can get that same thing. You know, you can still put it into. You can still put it into those riffs all tongue blocked. So if you're tongue blocking, it's just the same technique movement between those two notes, And again, you can move your head or you can move the harmonica. I find it harder that way, moving the harmonica, and kind of feel the cogs turning in my head, but you get the idea. The only other thing that I was doing on that riff, that was playing, that I was actually bending up to the note, and this is something that can really add to your warbles. If you're getting nice sounding warbles, something that you can add to that is to start with a bend on the 4 draw, or sort of bend the 5 and the 4 together. 5 only bends a quarter tone and only a little bit, but it will bend. Or you can sort of bend mid warble. You can start off 4/5 draw, alternate, and then you can sort of bend them that bit in the middle, if you can bend notes, that is. So have a look at lessons on bending notes if you can't do that. But if you're bending notes, you can put a bend in the middle. I actually started with a bit of a bend then, and then went and bended it in the middle again. But yeah, you can start clean. Like that, bend in the middle, and then come back up. On the 3 draw as well. And you don't have to do it as exaggerated as that. You can put a sort of subtle bend. You can put a quick little bend at the start of it. Just like that. Like that. That kind of adds to your the sound, the sort of tone and the interest of that warble. That's why 4/5 draw is such a great place to be warbling. Or it's one of the reasons. You can also kind of dirty them up or have them clean, depending on what you want. If your mouth's a bit wider, a bit looser on the harmonica, they kind of, the notes don't sort of come through as cleanly. It's a bit muddier. And then at the end there, I cleaned it up. I made my mouth smaller again and trying to get those notes really cleanly. So you can sort of alternate between those. You hear that difference? That's one way to get a sort of some taste into what you're doing, and a bit of bite, is to alternate those sounds so that you're getting sort of clean, dirtier sound when you want one or the other. I haven't got much time left, but that's a sort of a basic introduction to warbles and what they are and what they can do for your playing. So give them a go and listen to Little Walter, who's great with these things. There's quite a lot of James Cotton sort of good stuff. Magic Dick, if you listen to Whamma Jamma, there's a great bending warble in there which you can have a listen to. But these are common. This is a common technique with a lot of harmonica players. So just listen out and try and hear it and try and introduce that into your playing. Good luck. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson and have fun. See ya.